Call the meeting order at 7. First on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next the approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Fass, seconded by Mr. Brzezinski to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Pothorsky?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, passes 5-0. Next, the approval of claims.
Make a motion we approve the claims.
I'll second the motion. Motion made by Mr. Brzezinski, seconded by Albert to approve the claims. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Pothorsky?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
I'll vote yes, passes 5-0. I wasn't going to forget you.
Aye.
I'd come back to you. Okay, utilities.
Water service, sewer service was installed over here to Adam worked with, Adam got as far as he could. It was a deep hole, a lot deeper than what anybody expected. We need to get Weston. Butch and Jeff came in and helped out. I think it's all done. It looks pretty good, so should be okey-dokey there. The generator at the wastewater plants, the update is they're still waiting for the alternator to come in. I asked them about extending the warranty. They said they're waiting for the service for the portable generator that's there because it's $5,000 a month past the warranty period that they were going to give them free 30 days. So I'll try contacting them again. I've been trying to get all of them at least once a week. North Clarifier it's still a mess. We did order the planetary gear reducer. It's on its way. We talked to Gaskell and Walton and Gasvoda to do the labor for that. Tom's got the info. It wasn't cheap. It was probably exactly about where I figured it was. $22,000 for the labor, and the parts were extra, and there's other extras. So the sludge sampling's been done. We did have to, Adam had to get one of the old dumpster repaired. They're going to be repairing it pretty soon. They've got the parts for it. It's about $2,000 to get it repaired. We did observe another level of fixed elevated ammonia at the wastewater plant. Not sure why we're getting it. We've seen it off and on before. I'm guessing somebody's dumping something down the sewer. There's probably someone inhibitory to the nitrifying bacteria. That's the way it looks. It's nothing to super. Things like this happen, but it's cause for concern. So, other than that, that's all I got.
With that on the clarifier, I did share a little bit of information. So I would like to, this is pretty important for us to get done as soon as possible.
Yes.
Because with winter and cold temperatures here, it's just going to get colder. We did get a quote from Gaskell and Walton Construction. Their quote came in at $22,800. There's always a change. I mean, in the notes it said if there's bolts that need replaced or extra minor ins and outs, that's going to be added to that amount. I think Gasvoda came in between $20,000 and $25,000, but they were unsure as well. From a scheduling standpoint, didn't John recommend Gaskell and Walton Construction?
Maybe better.
Yeah.
I
for the scope of work, probably because
they've done more of these than Gasvoda probably does one every 3 or 4 years. Gaskell and Walton probably does one, at least one a year. Yeah. So I think they've got more experience in doing that.
Yeah, and it's going to involve a crane. They're going to have to detach a platform, reinstall a platform, so there's going to be some structural involved like that. Definitely want somebody in there with, that's going to be safe in that situation, especially in the wintertime. And then also the Clearstream Drive, it's going to be around, I think, approximately $5,000 with shipping. We're kind of, that's a rough number there. And then when they have, after it's installed, Clearstreams needs to come in and inspect the drive and make sure it's aligned properly and working properly before it gets up and running. And they charge approximately $1,800 a day plus expenses. So what, in this meeting, I'd like to get approved is a not to exceed number of $25,000 for a Gasco and Walton construction to repair the clarifier and install a drive gearbox, and then also for Clearstreams to be approved for a not to exceed number of $5,000 for the gearbox itself and to inspect it once it's complete. It's a gearbox, right? Or is it?
It's a planetary gear drive, yeah.
Okay.
And we will have to do a minor modification. We're gonna probably have to take it to Wozniak's and have a tap so we can actually just screw the keyway in so we don't need that retainer ring anymore. But I can't imagine that's probably a couple $100 for them to do that, so.
So altogether, not to exceed $30,000, and that to be all charged to our sewer operation equipment repair fund. I'd like to make a motion.
The sewage maintenance fund, or you
Sewer.
want sewage out?
Sewer out.
Okay.
I'll second the motion. We have a motion made by Mr. Fath, second by Albert, to approve Gasco Walton construction for not to exceed $25,000, Clearstreams not to exceed $5,000, and the total amount of $30,000 to be taken out of sewer operating equipment maintenance fund. Correct. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Koforski?
Yes.
Mr. Mashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Albert votes yes. Passes 5-0.
I have a question, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Repairs and maintenance or new equipment? Which there's a difference. So, is it,
And the maintenance is the money we put away.
so you want it out of the sewage maintenance fund, not the sewage operating fund? So the 5% that we put away goes in the sewage maintenance fund. Those are two different funds, and the sewage act has all the
Yeah, I know.
appropriations.
Do we have, like on the operational
We have
standpoint,
$181,701.62 in there.
on the is that on the maintenance of the op?
That's in the maintenance. The operating fund, we have $321,515.37. I mean,
I guess pull it out of the maintenance fund.
the maintenance fund, I mean, that's something that is
It could
allowable
be,
for
yeah.
that fund.
Yeah.
Okay. Sewage maintenance fund, okay. Sorry.
One more thing, I think the town hall, they received a letter, but also I received a letter from Joy Lake. Should I read the letter itself? This was regarding the water department and Bryce specifically. The letter, I'll just read the letter out loud. Dear Town of Westville, despite how hard the employees in the town of Westville work, I would imagine that you receive more complaints than praises for employees. Recently had an issue with my water meter, and a young man named Bryce was scheduled for an appointment to investigate the problem. My appointment was for 2 p.m. And at precisely 2 p.m., Bryce showed up at the door. He introduced himself and explained the problem that had instigated the call. He checked the meter and informed me of the problem and his solution to correct it. He explained that there would be some water leakage, but that he could make sure it was cleaned up. Within a short period of time, he had the meter replaced and the water cleaned up. During the initial repair, Bryce found that the rear pipe connected to the meter was loose, and he was concerned that it may have broken off in the crawl space. He explained that if that were the case, and that it could cause a problem for me this winter. Bryce asked my permission to go down into the crawl space, check out the pipe. That alone was impressive, since no one goes into the crawl space unless absolutely necessary. After a thorough check, he came out of the crawl space and stated that the pipe was not broken and was in good shape. I worked in human resources for over 40 years and have seen employees at their best and worst. To say Bryce had an impression on me is an understatement. This young man was exceptional in every way. He not only handled the problem that had brought him to the house, but he also took the initiative to look at another issue that could have been a problem in my home later on. Bryce was polite and respectful. He performed his job in an efficient, professional manner and represented the town of Westville in a positive way. He went over and above in his concern for my home, and I appreciate his dedication to his job. I was so impressed and appreciative of this young man and his mature approach to his job that I decided to send a letter commending him for a job well done. The town has an excellent employee, Bryce. Regards, Joy Lake. So, I mean,
Very good.
That's awesome. appreciated Bryce, everything our water department does. You guys are awesome. You guys have a lot of opportunities you always have to look at, problem solving all the time. But definitely, I think add this to Bryce's file.
Great.
And thank you guys for the utility work out here on the garage.
Thank you.
Deepest hole I've been in a long time, it was over 7 foot. I think Brian Sester was a little overly cautious on that one.
Didn't want it to freeze.
Yeah.
Anything else on utilities?
Maybe the dumpster, do we need that approved? It's like over $2,000
You think
for
we-
repairs. This is a new door and some bracing on the old dumpster, not the new one.
Oh.
Just to limp us by until,
Who's doing it?
he worked on it before, John Egon,
Johnny? So is he, so I'm gonna need a,
W9.
well, I'm also gonna, is he a contractor, like?
He was contracted with us before. I don't know if it was this year or if he needs a re-up
He
this
will,
year.
just give it to me tomorrow, he will, if it's not, I'll have to check if he's
Okay.
registered, but
I'll
just give it
have
to me
him
tomorrow.
call you.
Okay, oh yeah,
You'll be in the office tomorrow?
yep.
Okay.
Have to, go ahead. Make a
Yeah.
motion.
Do you know what the was it around $2,000 or?
Yeah, it was, I'm gonna look at it real quick. $2,107.90.
So I'll say, yeah. I'll say I would like to make a motion, we approve $2,200 to repair, not to exceed $2,200 to repair existing dumpster door and pull that out of sewer operational equipment repairs on that one.
I'll second motion. Motion made by Mr. Fasek, by Albert, to approve amount not to exceed $2,200 to make the repair of the dumpster at the wastewater plant be taken out of sewer operating equipment repair. Okay. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Peforski?
Yes.
Mr. B?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Thank you, guys. Anything else? Streets.
We're getting a manhole cover fixed. That's our holdup for Leith Riley. One manhole that they said we didn't have the riser and stuff, but we assured them we did, and now they agree. And so it should be fixed this week, and then we will close out, send them their retainage fee. And then for next year's community crossing, we want to put in $40,000. And so I guess I'd make that a motion to put $40,000 in community crossing grant. For roads and streets.
I second that motion.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Mashinsky, seconded by Mrs. Peforski to allocate $40,000 to be put into the community crossing grant.
And it's gonna come out of
That's
the
come out.
restricted.
Restricted.
Out of MVH restricted, we finally get to spend some of it.
Right.
Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Peforski?
Yes.
Mr. Mashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0.
That's all I have.
Parks?
Just that they decorated beautifully. I think it looks so good. It's amazing how because each organization in town has donated a piece of lighting fixture, and it just looks so great. So I'm like, oh my goodness, maybe in like 10 years we'll be like Washington Park, and it'll just be.
When I left the other morning, I came through, I leave about 5:30 to go to work, and from here, from the highway by Dairy Queen, you can see the tree. I never really noticed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
before.
beautiful.
It's
I
nice.
think what the fire department started is great.
Yeah, it looks good. We got our police car is still on display out there.
Nice.
Darren, briefly?
Why does everybody pick on me?
For November, we had 680 total calls for service, 78 traffic stops, 7 crash reports, 24 assist other agencies. We served 2 warrants, and we just had 7 ordinance violations. The only other thing I have is with Ian's resignation, effective January 5th, I would like to move Nate to the chief deputy spot. And we have 2 new hires lined up for 2020. That will bring me up to the 5 full-time staff that we had discussed earlier in the year. And the other one to replace the opening left by Ian's resignation. I'd like to bring them and introduce them to the town board, but I want to kind of get them through training first and get them allocated, get them acquainted to everything, and then I'll bring them in and introduce them. So I don't know, do we have to approve the Nate's movement, or how does that work?
Well, we can if we want to. If that's what you want.
He's, since we hired him, he's been working above his position from the start. He's always been, he's always the guy right next to me with the grants. He's always asking for more responsibility. The kid's brilliant. What he may lack a little bit in experience, he's gonna make up for in brain power, that's for sure. He's grounded, he makes good decisions.
Oh, I would support you naming him your chief deputy.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second the motion. Motion made by Mrs. Riddell, second by Albert to promote Nate Heineck to the position of chief deputy effective
January 5th.
effective January 5th of 2020. That's a long way away. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Peforski?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes. Passes 5-0. Congratulations.
John was there, congrats.
Will do.
Anything else on police?
I'm done.
Okay, finance. We have financial consultant or financial advisor contract. It's John Schaefer. Was there any changes, Lori, or same as before? Well, I'll make a motion that we enter into the contract with John Schaefer.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to enter into the contract with John Schaefer for next year. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Peforski?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. We have Resolution 2019-4, transfer of funds. Transfer $2,600 from appropriation 101-200-134 Health Insurance General Fund to appropriation 101-200-440 New Equipment General Fund. Transfer $1,500 from appropriation 101-200-290 Miscellaneous Supplies General Fund to appropriation 101-200-440 New Equipment General Fund. Transfer $500 from appropriation 101-200-221 Fuel General Fund to appropriation 101-200-440 New Equipment General Fund. I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2019-4.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Bashinsky to adopt Resolution 2019-4. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Peforski?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Fire Department contract, you want to hit the highlights?
The highlights?
Hit the highlights or the lowlights, or?
Well, it was a long process of negotiation with the fire department. I think both sides were cooperative. The numbers are what the numbers are. This contract is covering the period of time from July 1st of this year through the end of this year, and then through December 31st of 2020. There was a reduction in amount for 2020. There are some minor changes and some things that are being done that weren't done before, but overall, thank you to Mike and to Tom for working on getting this done, and thank you also to the fire department for their efforts to get this over with. It's a long time in the making.
Thank you for all your footwork on this, too. I will make a motion that we approve the fire protection contract from July 1st, 2019 to December 31st, 2020.
Second motion.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Peforski?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Anything else under finance? Miscellaneous?
I have something, just Market on Main. We want to do it first Saturday in June. And I just wanted to see, I mean, I can't make a motion or vote on it, but see if that's okay. If someone would do it for me. That'd be great.
You want everything like it was before?
Yeah, just like it was before.
Okay, you're gonna have the tent and...
Mm-hmm. Yep, Main Street closed, but we'll talk to you, and as soon as we get like the vendors, I can tell you, because last year it was a little bit smaller, but I think this year we'll make an effort to fill up all the way up to the Black Hawk, so.
I'll make a motion that we have.
Okay,
Market on
thank
Main
you.
the first Saturday in June.
Yeah, so it's gonna be June, let me check to make sure, so I don't say the wrong thing.
What is it, the week after Memorial Day?
Yeah, it is a Saturday after Memorial Day, isn't it?
It's June 6th, yep.
Okay.
The reason we like that day is because kids are still in school, or I think it's the last week, like the last day of school is that week, so that no one's actually leaving town yet, so that's why we like to do it that week.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Motion made by Mrs. Riddell, seconded by Albert to approve the Market on Main on Saturday, June 6, 2020. And you will work, or the Market on Main people will work with the police and the streets to iron everything out. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Pethorsky?
Yes.
You abstain?
Yep.
Mr. Mashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Fatt?
I'll abstain.
And Albert votes yes. It passes 3 yes and 2 abstentions. Any other miscellaneous? Citizens' comments?
Well, we got the site access agreement.
Oh.
Cam Moore, or the PRP group, yeah. It's,
And this, you checked tonight, so did... Environmental.
I can give a brief update on that a little. I talked to Frank, our environmental attorney, and then basically we had an agreement set in place as what was it, 2003 with the Cam Moore group, and basically they put, I think at that time they put in some soil gas probes. They're existing now. They wanted to add additional 4 locations. Talking to their environmental attorney, they didn't have to go through the process. Our original agreement was like broad enough for them to do this. So it's a good gesture on their part to let us know. And they needed to do that anyways, but they went above and beyond, and we had an amendment to our existing site access agreement. So basically, and I walked it through with Bubba, and also showed it to you, Nathan, and sent it to the utilities. Just to do a review. These gas probes, there's 4 of them. They're going to install, and there's a map in this ordinance. They're flush mounted, they're off the road. Before installing, they're going to coordinate with both the utilities department and street department, do a little meeting before, and then they'll obviously do a dig to make sure it's not impacting anything, so that's going to take place. But we did, and then one thing we did add, Nathan, that you mentioned was that we did have to excavate something, and we did cause damage there. Well, that we wouldn't be responsible. On the other flip side, if we do damage something that's theirs, we have to notify them within 7 days, because I think they have to test these twice a year or something like that. So, with that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve amendment number 1 for the site access agreement with Cam Moore Site Extended PRP.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Bass, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to approve the amendment number 1 to the site access agreement. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Pethorsky?
Yes.
Mr. Mashinsky? Yes. Mr. Fatt?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. We also have the PRP, the legal, the agreement for the waiver, which is modified from the last time we...
It is modified, well, they're proposing to modify it from the last time. I mean, what they are proposing is, as I've discussed with you, the law firms that represent the PRP group and the town are merging. As a result of that, there would then be a conflict. So what was agreed was that there would be a ethical law placed between the town and the PRP group, and that each would continue to represent the two sides. At one point, they took that to the executive committee of the PRP group. That was approved by them. But when they took it to the full PRP group, one member objected and indicated that it was their desire that once the environmental restrictive ordinance was passed and the settlement agreement was signed, sealed and delivered with the town, that then at that point, Frank DeVoe would no longer be representing the town. And they're asking whether or not that is acceptable. They asked for them to relent on not doing that. They would not. If we don't agree to the waiver with those terms, then both sides would have to go out and hire new counsel. I will tell you, going back in time to try and find an environmental counsel is extraordinarily difficult. They're very few and far between. Number two, trying to find an environmental counsel that would not have a conflict, because if they did any work for any one of the PRP groups, then they would have a conflict. We had a hard time back then finding somebody who didn't have a conflict. So certainly anything that would arise, at least from Frank's perspective, after the settlement agreement, would be things that would be more local in nature, like your right-of-way issue or something like that, or contractual issue that would not necessarily need an environmental lawyer to be handling it. So I guess the recommendation from his perspective is that, I mean, obviously he would like to get this through and done, and you're so close to the finish line on it, that I would certainly hate for the town to take a step backwards and everybody has to go to square one.
I'll make a motion that we approve the updated agreement.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell, that we approve the updated agreement. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Dvorsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pachinski?
Yes.
Mr. Fatt?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Is there anything else to come for the council? I will make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Fatt. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? There being none, meeting adjourns at 7:28.